Audio morning brief for the U.S. grain markets, 8:45 a.m. Eastern Time, March 5th. I do have a video prepared, but for some reason on Podbean's site, it's not accepting videos this morning. But it is accepting some of the audio, I believe. All right, here we go. Corn market. It has met our minimum upside price objective, but the model added more upside here in recent days. And then this morning I added still more. It's saying it might even go up to 444. I think that's too rich, too high. And the model is warning it's already entering the time frame that they can be done buying for this level 3 trend. They bought for most of last week, and it just may not go much higher than this. Now, the model is also suggesting that it's dipping now for a level 4 inter-week swing that can be all over today, so the market could be up tomorrow. If it starts turning up today, I would assume it's got a level 4 upswing, especially if it trades over the current overnight high of 431. Now, of course, if it trades above the high of the week of 433.5, that's all the evidence we need. The level 3 trend is still up, but the problem is that doesn't necessarily mean it's bullish for a while. I think this market would like to stay up for most of this week, but as you look out towards Friday on into next week, it ought to come down into a level 3 bottom. So we're getting closer to another wave of selling, but for the moment, it's like it's coasted sideways almost for its third or fourth day here, and met these minimum targets. The technical indicators are overbought, starting to roll over, starting to sell here. But the model's saying, give it a chance to bounce just a little bit more here in the next day or two, then start moving it down into the level 3. And then hopefully when it moves into that level 3, we find it only moves down part of the way and then moves up again and hopefully even moves higher than this week's high. That could be something quite constructive, that we finally found a bottom for now into summer, which we'll discuss more on like the weekly update and look at the weekly charts. At any rate, on the weekly chart, I did notice that even though the 5-day average is now bullish and the funds are probably guessing, do they want to buy dips back to the 5-day average? Right at the moment, it's right at today's price, so it's a pivot. They're probably confused. Do they buy or sell? But if you look at the weekly, the corn market is bumped up against the 5-week average, and they had been selling it as well. So they may be ready to sell it again, but if they can't knock it down to a new low for the year, then that may be a sign there's less and less sellers. It's exhausting. Selling's drying up. The supply is drying up, okay? But now, trade, so I'm not calling a level 3 top. It feels like probably should, but I'd rather have another pop at least, and then maybe we can get more serious about calling level 3 top. However, as a backup for trend following, if it trades below 422, we probably have a level 3 top. We also have to consider any lower close from now and early next week a sign of a level 3 top. But I'm not convinced if it's only closing off slightly today, I'm not convinced I want to call that bearish. Now let's move over to the soybeans. And we've established some upside objectives that if it trades above the high of this week of 1165 3/4 for May beans, and hopefully I said that was May corn, I might have said March. Anyway, we would then have upside objectives of 1172 to about 1190. Seems a little rich to me here, but the indicators are moving above mid-range, starting to spread a little bit on the stochastic. It's suggesting a chance for lingering upside momentum, and it's not yet overbought. So I think it's coming into a level 4 bottom today. It's near the 5-day average. So if they can start trading that up later today, it should move higher in the next tomorrow. And if they can go to a new high for the week, then that's also suggesting the level 3 trend is up. The level 3 doesn't have to top to about Friday this week, a little bit different timing than corn, and ideally it won't top to next week, we'll see. But there's room here. There's a chance this market's finding its feet. It's looking more bullish. They're not selling that 5-day average so aggressively for the moment. However, like the corn, when you go to the weekly chart, look at that 5-week average, they've been selling that, and they just sold it again. So if they knock the beans down, but it doesn't go to a new low for the year, and they start putting the beans back up and start getting above that 5-week average, we may have learned that what we've seen was the 5-day wasn't flipped to not working, then the 5-week not working. That can increase odds that the supply is drying up, the demand's starting to take an edge here, and we can still find some of these more important bottoms and that we're looking at the floor price from now into summer, okay? So it's constructive, but still early. It's still baby steps to young child steps, or young bull steps here. All right, now let's move on to the May wheat. And now, the May wheat Chicago wheat is in a target range that's from 559 to about 548, okay? And it is oversold, but the indicators are still acting bearish. The level 4 swings are suggesting they sold it near the 5-day average. They may push this down into tomorrow for the level 4 swing, and that can be yet another opportunity for a level 3 bottom. Starting today on into the end of the week, if we see an up day, I'm going to assume we got a level 3 bottom. The model's saying it could top as soon as Friday for level 3, so it might be very limited upside, which would probably be a clue it's still in a downtrend, but ideally, it'll be higher into next week. That gives us a little more time where they could recover this a little bit better. And I think they made a mistake in recent selling here, but I'll discuss more of that later in the week, okay? So I've given you some downside potential of these markets that at least got to look at recent lows. And then the wheat has a few more cents lower here. And I've given you some upside potential. And then pattern-wise of how the supply demand's flowing, there's still a chance to pick up, and there's still a chance we're starting to work on some kind of a bottoming process in these markets. I don't find any exciting new news going on here around the world. There's still issues going on that it's a good enough supply. China isn't an aggressive buyer, but buys well enough, but also favors Brazil over the U.S. Dollar's not helping here. Global economies are going to improve, but it's probably not fast enough to excite anybody at the moment in terms of exports, imports around the world. Have a great day. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future results. Thank you.